Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to another Geek First review. I am the Honey Man, Kirkland Patzer, and who do I have here with me today?
I am Winnie the Pooh, Taylor Field.
Very honey-centric names tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and if you can't guess by our names, you're probably super thrilled for a big Geek First Beekeeper review. This is a big, highly requested film. Don't listen to US Clayton on Discord. If you're on the GV Discord, go check that out. He might have said, "Do not see this film." So that's his quick thoughts on that. But we'll get into our thoughts, spoiler free, of course, initially, and then we'll jump into spoilers. But before we get into that, just a quick plugs. We got our yearly Geekverse Satisfaction Survey. That's where you can go on and post what you love or what you love, what we're doing,
Only
what you hate.
love.
Yeah, we only want positive feedback. No, we want positive and negative feedback. Some nice constructive criticism, as they would call it, perhaps. Or you could just go on there and rant, whatever it might be. The link will be in the description for that. I think it's going another week here, and we love to hear from you on how we can improve, or if you love what we're doing there. As well as with that, go check out our Patreon. That's probably the best way to support us. Put up that little banner there. You can get everything ad-free, early, and exclusive. We got some nice, juicy, exclusive content on there. All of our retros that we post on there go up early, as well as just some Patreon exclusive episodes. And right there, we got our big tier 4 Patreon producer tiers. Big shouts out to Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Joshua Wright, Jack Grant, Muds, and Sam. Thank you so much to each and every one of you, as well as just anyone that listens and puts in comments and all the other tiers of Patreon. I don't know. There's probably some other things to plug, but let's just get into the meat potatoes. Or before we do that, Taylor, where can they find us?
Ladies and gentlemen, with your internet connection in the search bar, geekverse.ca is our home base, geekversecast is our Twitter, geekverse is our Facebook.
Fantastic. All right. Here we are for Beekeeper. Obviously, if you can tell, it's just Taylor and I. We are the only ones brave enough to face this film. Travis was a big not want to see this film. We even had for our previous 24-hour extra life stream, we had a big stretch goal of whatever. I don't even remember what the dollar amount was. It was pretty substantial. 2,500. So if we reached that, Travis would have been here with us, but we did not, unfortunately, this year. So he did not have to make this. I part of me wants to do this as like my Geekverse golden
I
geek.
thought about it.
Golden geek film.
I think like if I think this Travis would have really laughed a lot in this movie, and I think if we all saw it, we would have been riding off each other.
I 100% agree. No, I definitely this film had a lot of things in it that just reminded me of those like peak theater going moments, like when we're all seeing it together. Just a lot of ridiculous things were happening. I was just laughing at myself so many times in this film for good and bad reasons. I guess I'll just transition right into my thoughts. So yeah, spoiler free, of course, initially. This movie, I will say, it's pretty much what I was expecting. As when I saw the trailers, it's just pretty crazy concept. Statham being this beekeeper, and in the trailers they had him going in there like 1v40ing like this whole security crew, and I'm just like, man, I'm so there for that. I'm so ready for just this higher than life Jason Statham kicking ass type of film. I'm a big fan of Statham. I haven't seen like all the Fast movies that he's been in, but just like from the Crank days, love him there. And I really feel like he kind of just fits in that category of like, what you're getting from him. You just kind of, he almost feels like the exact same type of character in everything that he's in, but I love him for that. It's probably big nostalgia just watching those films like back in the day that he was a part of, and just really liking the action that comes with it. And so the trailer was just ridiculous. I was pretty much in from there, and it's pretty much what you would be expecting. Although I will say that I was not expecting the escalation that this film has. It starts when it's in the trailer, so it's not even a spoiler. But a woman that he's caring for gets scammed, and then she commits suicide. So then that's where it kind of starts his revenge of tracking down these scammers and just burning them to the ground. And I just did not expect us to keep going and like to where he ends up by the end. I won't say what that is because it's kind of a spoiler, like the big main head honcho that he takes out. I was just baffled by that. But no, by no means is this like I because I want to say it's not a good film, but like I just had such a good time with it. But I also had a lot of moments that I was just completely scratching my head on. Specifically with the plot, there's a lot of characters that are in here that I just really did not care for. I felt like we had some really good action. I feel like I really liked pretty much all the action in this. It had some nice high octane moments, some good fight choreography. But we'd go from like a big fight scene to some other characters that I just didn't really care about, and then it would go to some good action. So I thought just like the flow of it was kind of choppy sometimes. The pacing had some issues here and there, and just some like really stupid characters. Now there is a lot of moments when it's just like, man, this is so stupid how this one guy can just take out like 1,000 people, pretty much. Maybe minor exaggeration there, but for some reason that just really didn't affect me. I feel like it actually boosted my overall enjoyment because I was kind of getting hints of like some John Wick isms in there, where John
Oh,
Wick is just this like Baba Yaga that can just completely decimate everyone, and he's like this feared spirit that like
I have
no
to
one
see
can
that
take
face
out.
off.
Yeah.
Beekeeper versus John Wick.
100%. I'd wonder who would make it out. So I like because they are like this Baba Yaga type characters, and that definitely was scratching that John Wick itch that I was kind of not expecting to get from this, and so that was kind of nice for sure. But there still was a lot of cringy moments on screen that I just really didn't care for some of the dialogue that was in there. So. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've been talking a little while, so I'll pass along to Taylor here for like recommendations, I guess, or maybe I'll do that after. I'll pass it to you, and then we'll do recommendations, and we'll jump into spoilers.
Um, the I think I really genuinely forgot the baseline for what this movie was going to be based on the trailers. I felt like there were certain scenes that I could not keep up with. They happened so quick, and my mind was like, "Whoa, that just happened! Holy shit, that's mind-boggling." I love the action. I loved how ambiguous this was, and how like it was black and white for Jason Statham's character. That was it, and that's all I needed. There were so many twists and turns, but at the same time, it was a very linear narrative. And just as you said and alluded to, that ending part where we got to was the last thing I expected. It's like this is a full 100.
Like I was
And
almost waiting for
even
like
up.
the we're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence moment. Honestly, like
Totally.
it almost got there in this movie.
It absolutely did. Yeah. So I was there for it. I really, really was. I was as soon as credits rolled, I immediately was just jotting my notes down because I thought, oh, this was fucking hilarious. This was really, really funny. It's just certain things that really stood out to me, and I'm glad I wasn't the only one. Like I saw it alone in my showing, but the other people that I was with, because it's almost a sold out theater. Of course, the
Oh
Cineplex
wow.
one is a little bit smaller than the Landmark ones, but everyone was laughing at the same scenes that I was laughing at, and it was just so crazy, absolutely crazy. But I don't think that this deserves as much flack as it probably is gonna get, because I had a genuinely good entertaining experience with this. There wasn't a single time where I felt like I was bored and I needed to like pull my eyes off the screen. I was engaged with it. I was loving it. And while there were definitely some very flamboyant characters, like it's almost like there would be like you're going through a video game and then the next boss comes in on screen and they're just like they stand out very different from a crowd of the
Yeah.
regular characters, the minions that you're fighting.
Got the
And so
Scott
once-
Adkins type
Oh,
character coming in.
yeah, exactly.
Not so much, like not exactly that character, but almost like where he just stands out so easily.
Totally. And so when those characters come in, it's like, well, this is definitely a change up. But then you laugh about it, and they're intense. But there were some really cool fight choreographies that were done in this. I really really enjoyed it. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, my theater. Because I saw this at like 3:50 like afternoon. It was so pretty not a mainstream time to see it. I still was surprised with how many people were in there. It actually wasn't in the big extreme theater. It was in one of the smaller ones.
Oh.
I thought it was in the big one. So, but there was, I don't know, maybe like 8 people total in there. I saw it with my dad and his buddy. So there was the 3 of us that were probably the most engaged with it. They were loving it. I'll give their quick review. They absolutely loved it. My dad's a huge Statham fan, and he had a big blast for that. So. As far as recommendations go, I definitely think that if you are a fan of Statham, like I think you will like this movie for sure. Take it for what it is. You're not going to be going in there for like an Oscar-winning plot or anything. A lot of the dialogue is just super super flat. Like even Statham's lines, I feel like it's just been like a
Just B
recycled line.
references.
Yeah, it's B references and then like a badass recycled line that he's probably said in like 9 different of his movies of just like something that he says before he kicks someone ass. And I was totally fine with that because you got to know what you're getting when you're heading into this. Don't expect like I said, like a rock solid plot. But I definitely think this is a fun movie to watch. And yeah, as far as action goes, like if you want an action movie, I think this definitely I think it definitely fits that category. That's why I was so like kind of thrown back by US Clay Agents Clay on Discord, like his thoughts on it initially. I didn't read his full review. I didn't want to get spoiled before I saw the movie, so I'll definitely check that one out. I think it was like a 1.5 star, and he was just I feel like going into it, he was mentioning that he wanted something just stupid action, and I apologize, Clay, if I'm recycling your words here incorrectly, but I feel like stupid action is definitely what this movie is. So I definitely would recommend it for those of you that fit that category. And yeah, I although like maybe this is one that you could definitely wait for streaming. I do want Travis to see this movie definitely on streaming at some point, because I think there is still some moments that he's gonna find funny with just the whole Beekeeper isms, and especially with where we go on the plot. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Anything else?
Jason Statham aside, when the intro was happening in the theater and you're dropping like names, producers, everything like that, I completely, maybe I don't know if I knew this already, but I forgot. But Josh Hutcherson was in this, which is
Yeah.
an absolute delight. And then Jeremy Irons was in this too,
Yeah,
which I
I was
couldn't
shocked to
believe.
see his name. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good cast.
Good cast for sure. Josh Hutcherson's character is just like I don't even know. I don't even know if I had like high expectations for this guy or anything, but I'm just like, man, how far he's come from the Hunger Games, the Zitharas of the world, Bridge to Terabithias to his character here. Because I feel like anyone really could have fit like his character. Like like there's a big list of people that could have made that character for what it was, because it's not really a good character or anything like that. Just kind of a piece of shit character. But I don't know. Anything else spoiler free, or should we just jump into the?
I think
I will
think
say,
that's it.
I will say, at the opening sequence, it's very like just montage of like bees and hives. And as someone that struggles with tryptophobia, it was major triggering for that. If you don't know what that is, definitely give it a Google. I'm not gonna pull it up because that is something that just really gives me anxiety. It's a strange thing. There's a small percent of people out there, but if you have tryptophobia, maybe close your eyes at the whole hive thing. Long story short, it's basically just little sequence of holes that kind of irritate you. I don't know. It's kind of an odd thing, but even like when I watched Candyman, there's a certain scene when he just has like the hive all over him. It freaked the hell out of me, mostly just for that reason. But so yeah, there's your little warning there. Taylor, let's go to our first ad break, and then we're gonna be coming back to unravel this hive. We'll be right back. All right, Taylor Field, where do you want to go?
Well, I mean, I'll just drop it real quick. The intro you were talking about, the tryptophobia sequence.
Yes.
I think it caught me off guard because it went really in depth, like bees and religion, Egyptian bees and stuff. I was like, they're really going hard. Like, wow.
For a brief moment, I thought we were gonna get some like secret society of like beekeepers that like since the Egyptian era have like just been, I don't know, this like Illuminati type crew. I kind of thought we were going with that, which is how intense the beekeeping aspect to it. And I guess we can just start there with like the whole beekeeping thing. I honestly I kind of liked it, just this like underground major spook of this like. Again, it's something that I've seen in so many different action movies before, whether it's like the Jason Bourne series, Bridgestone, I think that's what that was called. They're like secret society of, like not even the government really knows what this is. It's like a total spook agents. And like again, it has been used before, but I think I'm just such a sucker for that because I love those Jason Bourne movies. That's one of the earlier action movies series that I have seen, and just pairing that with Statham, I I really liked it. It's definitely a lot more comedic than what the like the Jason Bourne Bridgestone thing is, because just I think just with how it plays, like they don't really go in too much effort to try and explain it at all. It's just like a John Wick thing. Like, okay, this is the beekeepers. Oh my gosh, they are the legends. Like they are the agents that take out the biggest badasses in the world. Like even Jeremy Irons' character is at one point. He's like he's talking to a group of like Delta Squadron, SEAL Team 6, like the biggest badass military guys in the world, and he's like, "You're a bunch of pussies when it comes to this guy." And like that, like it's just so funny the way that he's like dropping that line in the moment, but like they just go with it. So I think they do a good job at kind of keeping to that line of like the John Wick fantastical, how they have like these higher than um like what's the word I'm looking for? Just these higher ideas that like you don't really have to explain and make them realistic. It's just this is what we're given for this movie. Just go with it, and that definitely worked for me for all the beekeeper stuff, especially when when we see like the other the other beekeeper come in later on. That's just a total fucking nut job. Like that that moment, I was laughing so hard in that sequence. We'll get to there for sure. But how did you feel about the whole beekeeper aspect to it all? And at moments it goes a little bit too extreme, I think, even for me. But for the most part, I definitely was okay with it.
Yeah, I think the whole secret agency that's like outside of the governing body it's always something that kind of pulls me in. I enjoy it, so that was definitely a good time. Yeah, the I guess we can kind of use it to transition into the fact that yeah, he's retired, and so they send
Yes.
another beekeeper in because there's a beekeeper organization, and so his replacement goes after him, who's just straight out of like a pay to win skin, coming in there.
100% with the tracer pack. She even her gun has like the like the pink bullet tracer things on it. That's so funny. I didn't even think about that.
Does so she comes in and just she's got a fucking minigun on the back of her vehicle, which is so random. It's just this is why I feel like this fits in the John Wick realm to a slight
Yeah.
degree. It totally caught me off guard. Just how that whole fight just went down. It was crazy. And just how he fucking has a jar of honey and just whips it, and it throws it like 10 feet, smashes on her head. Then he just lights her on fire. It was crazy. And it's a slow build up forming in this film that it starts to tell me, okay, this is getting progressively more violent, and it's hard for me to kind of keep track of how violent we're actually going to get in this movie, because there's things that happen that's just get more crazier and crazier and crazier. But it starts with the fact that okay, it's very dark. You don't see her killing herself, the woman, but she commits suicide. And it was just like I was getting like agitated because they just fooled her so easily, and she lost all that, and I was not expecting her to kill herself. Again, I've totally forgot about that from the trailers, so it was kind of like
I think that
a
whole
fresh.
sequence is in the trailer as well. Like it's I know like I haven't seen the trailer in a little while, but just thinking back, I'm pretty sure they show that whole moment because they even show him go to the call center in the trailer and just lighting people on fire.
They do, and I thought that was actually going to be like the crescendo, the high point of
Yeah.
the film.
So
So I'm
early on.
it was so early on. So I'm so glad that was actually yeah they got out of the way, because I was like, okay, where are we gonna go next? And whoa, do we go places? Holy shit!
Do we go places? Yeah, like even like the main douchebag guy, like or it's not the main one, the first one I should say, the guy that's at the first call center, the one that actually talks to the poor lady. I think her name was Eloise. That scams her out of it. Like I thought that was gonna be like one of our main antagonists of the film. I really don't remember seeing Josh Hutcherson at all in the trailer. Again, like I said, like it's been a little while since I've seen that trailer, but I thought that this other guy was gonna be one of the bigger villains, which he was like a whiny individual in the trailer, so I thought he might be getting like I might get tired of him pretty early on, but he gets rid of him so quickly and in a nice satisfactory manner, I should say.
Well,
Um,
you want to talk? You want to talk about him? I guess a little bit more, because I got a few things. Just I guess
sure.
maybe it's more like Jason Statham, I guess, in relation to this guy. But like, yeah, he's leading this I guess the Boston branch, and they're running the scams, the
They
cons.
weren't
They
in
got like
Boston first. I think he goes to Boston for the second one,
oh, okay.
nine something, whatever that one was called. But this one was like UGD or UDG or something
One
like
of the
that.
subdivisions that was running. Yeah, yeah, you're right. So Jason Statham, he goes there, deals with this guy, and lets everyone kind of off on a warning. after like knocking the shit out of some people. But this guy leading this charge, he calls up Josh Hutcherson. He's like, okay, like I'll take care of it, kind of a thing. And so I love how they go in, they find out where Jason Statham is, and then he goes in so fucking confident, and Jason Statham just takes out like his goons, and then he's freaking out and just cuts his fingers off. Just like, okay, that fucking sucks. And just I thought he was out of the picture. I really didn't think he was gonna come back. But then he calls Josh Hutcherson, he's crying, and he's just and it was like, holy shit. But the scene that got me was out of fucking nowhere, Jason Statham punches through his windshield and then ties him up. And clearly it was a fucking dummy, because when the truck goes off the bridge and he's like screaming and he gets pulled off. Holy shit, I was not expecting that.
Again, that's another thing that I'm pretty sure was in the trailer, but like even just seeing it on the big screen, I was laughing so hard of just like the ridiculous nature of it, because as you said, like it's so clearly a dummy, like just getting pulled by the vehicle, because he just looks so stiff and you just hear his scream going in. It was so ridiculous. So like those moments, I can definitely some people just not liking, but for me, it was hilarious. My dad and his buddy were totally eating up that whole sequence, and then like this movie has a lot of those moments of just ridiculous things happening. That fortunately for me, like I definitely took it the right way. But do you have anything else to say?
Oh well, just that's I guess where we get like Josh Hutcherson's first conversation with Jason Statham, and he's like, "What?" Jason Statham's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "I told you my name. It's Mr. Fuck You." he's just so great. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's maybe where I'll differ a little bit. I didn't really care for Josh Hutcherson that much in this film at all. Like he is just like that douchebag, definitely privileged individual who, you know, like we find out he's the son of the president of the United States, which that's the big moment that we haven't mentioned yet that we'll definitely get there. But Mr. Clay, Jason Statham's character, ends up going after POTUS in her beach house or whatever the hell it is, her country house. So, you know, we'll get there. But going back to like the whole call center thing, and even just like the initial I guess motivation that gets our beekeeper kind of out of retirement, I do remember that from the trailer, but I think that the way that it was done was actually pretty good. Like I haven't been scammed myself, thankfully, but like I'm pretty sure that's like how those scams pretty much go. Like they just totally take advantage of these people that are just maybe elderly or just not very like computer savvy, and like it's just like taking advantage of these individuals when they're just like trusting, because they think that they're losing their whole data, their computer's getting viruses or whatever. So just fuck scammers in general. So that I did like that was kind of like the main enemy, because it's an enemy that like everybody would probably agree with, that like, yeah, fuck those people, like let's go after them. And people that have been scammed, I'm sure, you know, there's moments that they wish they could just pull out the Jason Statham card and go burn down their whole call centers. Maybe not murder as many people, but you know, deliver justice. And I think later on the whole maybe plot of that kind of gets messy for me, especially just like because we find out that Jeff Hutcherson's mom not only is POTUS, but she's also, I mean, I guess she stepped down from her billion-dollar CEO company to become president of the United States. But like, why is this billion-dollar company really needing to be scamming people? Like that's where like the line was getting a little bit weird. It just seemed like they do kind of explain that like they got money, I guess, from it to boost her campaign, and that's kind of what Josh Hutcherson's role was.
She didn't know though, right, that they were scamming people, because she thought it was making money for the FBI doing FBI things. But yeah, the son kind of distorted it,
and like he changed like the whole way that like their company works, because it's supposed to be like tracking down like terrorists or whatever, like data collection, but they just use it to scam people, and that's where it was just like. Like, this is just a little bit unbelievable, because I feel like, especially on like a big company like that, like you have board members. It's not just like one privileged little guy that's just like running this whole show. And so like that stuff is definitely, I think, a con overall, just like that general thing, because like that is how this whole thing happens. Like that's how these call centers are working, is because the president's son is just like totally, he's like doing blow at work and just totally fine with just scamming all these people. And it's almost like he's just doing it to be that asshole. And they do give a bit of a weak reasoning throughout the film, I guess, for why he's doing it, to not only get money, but I don't know. It's just a little bit messy for me. So that I didn't love, but again, like that's not what I was focusing too much on. I was able to kind of look past that because of the action and some of the other just funny sequences that happened later on. But I definitely wanted to mention that because although I thought that the initial scammer like plot line and the motivation for our beekeeper to be kicking ass, what I did like it because it's like a good common enemy that you would want to take out. It later on it got a little bit messy. Just I think it's just because of the big scale of it. Like I would have been fine if he's just going after scammers and like that's just what he does, but like we kind of been beating around the bush, but literally by the end, like he's on a mission to take out the mother of this bad seed. He's going for the queen bee that's produced this shitty
queen
offspring.
bee slayer, right? That's what they call them.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's so stupid and ridiculous, but I was just like, man, fuck yeah, let's do this. Statham, like let's go full Hitman Codename 47 on these people and just infiltrate. And like again, like that's where I just get on like the higher than life type moments of the John Wick isms where he takes on like pretty much the whole FBI, like the CIA, the Secret Service, these like SEAL Team 6 members, and like not even just like 6-man squads at a time. Like he literally walks up to a group of FBI agents when they're surrounding a building to be like defending this guy, and he just fucking hand-to-hand combats them all before going into the building. Like it's just so ridiculous. And like, you know, like I think John Wick does a little bit more of an effort of explaining how these moments happen because they at least have like the jackets that are bulletproof, right? And they like try and show reasoning on how this works, even though it is a little bit ridiculous and less realistic. This one just kind of throws that to the side, and I can understand.
Oh yeah,
I can understand why people would have cons with that, but for me, it's just like fuck it, let's just do it. Let's just kick ass here. We have Jason Statham with God mode on, and he's just invincible. And I was eating that up. So this is definitely more of a movie for me. But I said a lot there. But yeah, you jump in.
Well, you mentioned a really, really good thing there. Yeah, they don't explain like certain sequences unfolding. It's just Jason Statham in full God mode. And so yeah, he takes out that group of FBI agents that are all wearing like decked out military gear. So basically setting up the scenario. So SEAL Team 6 members and whatnot are hired by the bad guys to go into the main hub of one of the online scamming sites.
Yes.
And there's this guy with an accent running this joint and whatever like that. And they got all like the people in there doing the same thing, just like we saw in the other office that Jason Statham tore down. And Jason Statham's trying to get in here. So the SEAL team says, okay, you FBI guys, you stay out here. SEAL team goes in upstairs and they get into a debacle because the scammers are like, oh, you guys need to get out. We're making money. And they reluctantly leave. Jason Statham magically appears upstairs while all the scammers are clapping their hands that the SEAL teams are going.
And he's clapping too.
I fucking lost
He just like fast traveled from so he was. So again, like this is such a lockdown situation. Not only do we have FBI and police locking down this whole block and like watching all the entrances, they're like planning on the areas that he could be going to like strategically do this. There's at least like 15 of them outside too. And then inside you have like Delta Squad, SEAL Team 6, all in there with their tack gear ready to go. I would imagine everyone's like monitoring every little entrance. And then Steven just like walks up to the powwow of the FBI guys and he's just like talking. He's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. And then he just fucking proceeds to kick ass. Like I was just chuckling at how ridiculous that was. And but yes, sorry, carry on. And then he just shows up in the boardroom with clapping his
just
hands
clapping.
Like that. So, yeah.
Fuck, that got me so good. And just the guy behind him like just looks down at this like watch out
Wanted
poster.
yeah.
Water poster below. Holy shit. That absolutely just broke me. I was laughing. And then especially too when he goes and like just slits the boss guy down and he's just like whacking him with the stapler like crazy.
If I was that guy, I feel like I would have talked. Definitely initially, like before he throws me even through the window, let alone like 27 staples to the forehead and the hands later.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Jeez. That scene just broke me. And after that, he just proceeds to just kick ass. He just shreds and cuts through this SEAL Team 6 group of guys. And the thing that really I didn't have enough time to process it and think about it because it just happened when the SEAL team's chasing him and it cuts to the elevator and he just fucking shoots up like a fucking, the mailing tube and those mailing pipe things. He's just up. And then they just go in the elevator and start unloading. And he's like, "Are you done?" And they're all reloading. He fucking detonates and cuts the elevator. So the elevator just immediately drops, and a guy tries to jump up but gets sliced
Oh
in
yeah.
half. I was like, I was not ready for that.
That was
That just
reminding me of
happened.
Resident Evil when that
Yeah.
lady gets decapitated. Yeah, and like all of that like visuals for me just totally hit when those moments happen because there's a lot of violence in this movie and it's just like oh my god, it's so ridiculous and I feel like I had that reaction multiple times. It's nice because it doesn't go full into like the torture porn stuff that I really don't like, but it still was gory and definitely an R-rated adventure. I'm
Hmm.
assuming this was R-rated. It definitely felt like it. There's a
Oh,
lot
it
of
has to be.
ridiculous. There's definitely a lot of ridiculousness going on in here. Um, yeah, no, I think that's all I wanted to say on that section.
Let's see if I got anything else on that.
Where, yeah, where I maybe I'll mention the police people because this is or like the FBI individual. So this is a section that I actually really didn't like in the movie. I was pretty just bored with them every time that we would go. The people that I'm talking about is Eloise, the lady that was scammed initially. Her daughter is like an FBI agent, and she's trying to track down these scammers like the right way. And then of course Jason Statham's just doing his thing. So that kind of puts because she's following the case, like she's on he's on her list rather of just trying to like find him. And although they're kind of after the same people, he's doing it the beekeeping route, and she's trying to do it by the book. And I just really didn't care for this character at all, let alone her partner. I just felt like a lot of the times when we would go from like an action sequence, this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier in the spoiler free section, but it would be like a Statham kick ass moment, and then it would go to them like in the office, like I don't know, like trying to find leads, and then of course it would be like something that Statham did, and they're like, okay, we got to go with the scene, and I feel like all those scenes I just really didn't care for. I don't know if it's the actress or it's probably just the writing on it, but it was just super flat, and I really didn't need those moments. I understand trying to show like the daughter's perspective, but even the perspective that they're going for, I felt like it was just so shallow and so flat. Like even earlier on when because Mr. Clay, Jason Statham's character, he finds obviously Eloise killed in her home, and that's where he meets the daughter. And initially, of course, she suspects that he's the one that did it, and it just felt like she had zero emotion to like seeing her mom. Like she says like, "Oh, my mom's dead," and like there's no tears, there's no like like moments of like music that's trying to like boost these emotional moments of like her finding her mom there. Like they really just didn't do any effort, I thought, to like try and get those like tear jerking moments or anything like that. And because this movie is just so ridiculous, I don't think it has to have that, but it seemed like they inched in that direction, and because it was just so shallow and so flat, I wish they didn't even do that because I just really didn't care for her motivation at all because she just seems so detached from that actual emotional moment of losing her mom. And throughout the whole thing, I just her it seemed like her goal was just all over the place because she says multiple times that she wants to get Mr. Clay because what he's doing is against the book, and she wants to do it right. And even her partner asked her later on of like, why are you even going after this guy if he's doing what you would want him to do, right? Like he's
Hmm.
going after all of these corrupt individuals, all these assholes, and just doing the easy thing of just taking them out. And that's kind of what she wants to do, but she wants to do it the right way. And then we get way later on in the movie when he's leaving, we'll get there, but when he's doing his exfil after he's taken out Josh Hutcherson, and she just lets him go, and I'm like why even like say that this is what her motivation is? Like I'd rather her actually helping him out throughout the entire movie if this is the result, because like she's just like a nothing character. So I really didn't like her throughout it. And I don't even know her total screen time. I feel like it's much longer than I would have wanted. I really just wish it was like all Statham really on screen.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about those characters?
I didn't mind them. I think how I took it, because you make a good point based on how her affection and her response to her mom passing was. I attribute it to just being this one sentence where she says to Jason Statham, like, "Hey, I wasn't really close." So I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but she explained that she didn't have a very close relationship, and it wasn't a great relationship with her mom because, again, you learn that her mom favored her brother more than favored her. So there obviously was
Right.
some disconnect there, and I guess what they were going for and representing how she wasn't really she was feeling emotional but just kind of drinking her sorrows away. Um, but I liked how things kind of transitioned for her. I liked that she was having meetings with like the deputy secretary and just getting all the assets that she needed, and it kind of makes me think it's a similar story to sort of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, where you got that cop and his goal is to capture Ethan Hunt, and that's his main thing. He's going all the way through the whole movie just there trying to catch him but never can get him.
Right.
And maybe this girl is a little bit more expedited in her narrative because she does let him go, whereas that guy in Mission Impossible, he didn't really, he just wanted to get the guy. So that's the only difference, but I guess it's fitting. It worked for me. I don't know if I needed any more screen time than what we got. There was just enough. So
Perfect. Okay. Where do you want? Actually, maybe we'll go to another ad break here, and then we'll jump back for some more beekeeping action. All right, we're back, Taylor. Where are we going?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that Beekeeper. I love how, not to kind of go back into the whole organization of things, but just when
Let's do it.
the mom was dead and then the FBI agent daughter was, I guess, asking him for help, or I can't
I don't
remember
even
how
know
she
if like
put it.
I don't even think she asked him for help. She's just like, I'm gonna get this guy, and then that's where he's just doing his fucking beekeeperisms of like, gotta protect the hive.
Yeah, like I
man,
the bees or what.
I would hate trying to have a conversation with this fucking beekeeper where like everything he says just has something to do with the hive. I like the gimmick for the movie. I found it funny, especially the way that Statham was just delivering the lines. He was very dedicated to his craft, but like not at any moment is she like, oh yeah, no, like we're gonna take this guy out together, or like says like, don't worry, I'm gonna find this guy. She's just like on her own saying like, yeah, no, like I'm gonna do everything I can to let this or take this motherfucker down. And he's like, I gotta. I think what happens is he like stands up. She's like, where are you going? Got to tend to the hive. And
Go to the
like,
hive. Like, you've been awake all night. And bees come first.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I think that's the only time they talk actually, like other than like when she's chasing him and like, you know, like, stop, this isn't the way, like that sort of dialogue. But that really is like all it is. And again, that's kind of what I was speaking to earlier. Like I wish they kind of, if they're going to show emphasis on this character, at least have her maybe be like the inside person that can kind of help him out. But I mean, he's the beekeeper. He doesn't need help from this FBI agent. But yeah, I digress.
I loved how he had his tech inside the little beehive. That was great. His little like cell phone.
I just chuckled so hard when that happens because I'm like, of course he has this fucking one-way radio or two-way radio, whatever the hell it's called, in his like just the way that he opened it up, and there's just this like tech in there. I'm like, what other things does he have keeping like is he keeping in these beekeeper hives? He's got his porno mags and deep in one of them. But yeah, and then he just turns the phone on, and this is where like it's almost like John Wicky, where he like we don't even know who these people really are. They're just like called the beekeepers. They're on the phone, and the dialogue, like I just laughed so hard at this moment because he's like, yeah, I gotta find someone. You know, FBI can't find them, and she's like, well, we're not the FBI. And then and then it like goes to black, and then he's like working on his tractor or something like it's just like showing a time skip. He's like working on his tractor, and then he gets a call, and she's like, we got him, and then it just goes to the next thing. Like it's not like there was any like back and forth moment there. It's just like, man, like this is just hilarious. Like they're not even trying to like explain how like, okay, yeah, no, we found this guy on this route. This is where he could be. It's just like, no, we got him, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go kick his ass. And then, but yeah, that moment just made me laugh so hard because it's like, okay, and like that's probably the first 20 minutes of the movie too. So it's like, I know what I'm getting into from here on. I don't need these explanations for sure.
His honey that he was making when he brought the little honey hive in and like compressed it and like poured it into that jar. Holy
Yeah.
shit! I would bathe in that. That looks
Dude,
so
that was like
amazing.
Captain's Cupboard stuff. That was top shelf gear. I've never seen honey that good before. I need me a beekeeper that can make that. And he even made like his special label too for Eloise. And those fucking assholes that came on later, they just destroy not only his hives but his jars too. And you know they definitely get what's coming to them. But I was just like it. it looked so fake, which it probably was, definitely. But like, man, that's a lot of golden nectar that they just completely destroyed. But,
That I guess that is scene too when he makes that orange juice for himself after he got like vindicated or freed from the FBI, and like the daughter comes in behind him, is like, hey, can I interest you in something a little stronger? And he's not even looking at her. He's just like, nope, but I'll sit and listen. It's like, okay, that's kind of weird, and that's what he does. He just sits at this table and he just listens to her. So
his
yeah.
social skills are so awful. Again, he's just such a fucking weird beekeeper guy. Because I think in that same scene, she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I blamed you," and he's just like, "It's understandable for how you'd be feeling." As he's like facing the wall and she's behind him. He's a fucking robot man with zero social skills. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
pretty
just found
much.
those moments funny. Like, I could definitely understand when people just think that's stupid, but for me, it was a perfect amount of stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I have anything else on the first couple sequences. I
First
think
couple of
that's it.
sequences, yeah. Oh, what was I gonna say? I mean, like the action when they actually come for him, and even at the first call center, like I've said it a few times already, but I did really like all the fight sequences, and when they go to the farmhouse and he's just like turning on all the saws and everything for like background noise to cover his tracks, and I just love a good sequence like that where you have one individual just fucking taking out these people with guns, and I don't think he shoots a gun like at any point in this movie that they emphasize too, because I think it's like the deputy director or someone that's talking about it. It's like he's taking out the FBI agents, the security guards without even shooting a gun off. And like that's where it's almost like John Wick with like the Baba Yaga thing where they're talking about this boogeyman type character that is just a spook, and he's just the urban, like the legend, especially when they have characters that kind of know about the beekeeperisms. That's I feel where it feels the most like the John Wick stuff, where if you know about them, like, oh man, you kicked the hornet's nest, like you're just dead now. And even Jeremy Irons' character says that early on to Josh Hutcherson when he kind of gets track of who this guy is and who's actually after him.
Yeah, I thought it was very fitting that Jeremy Irons was he was like the former CIA director, and then he took over former POTUS's job at like was it Darnsworth, I think.
It's like Marfield or Marthold or something like that.
Something
I
like
can
that,
pull it
yeah.
up,
The
but
security company. So basically, he works for Josh Hutcherson's character.
yeah, because
Just kind of like
he's like the
babysitting.
head of security, I think. Like he's in charge of protecting all the assets, and then yeah, of course, this just druggy son is the CEO, which makes no sense with like zero board members that have any say whatsoever.
I don't think that was his son. I think because
No, her son. Sorry,
her son.
That-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I had a thought of where to go, but I totally just blanked when we were talking about
Jeremy
Irons.
Irons, POTUS, Josh Hutcherson. Head of
It'll come back.
security.
It'll come back. Um,
I liked Jeremy Irons' little like rants that he was having, like moments he would just be like freaking out and getting upset and whatnot. And I like that he called the CIA and had the CIA come in. They're the
That-
ones who got the beekeeper to help.
that was the moment that I laughed so hard at, and I was trying to think of actually. So thanks for reminding me, because we go to Jeremy Irons, who he was like used to be the head of the CIA for like 35 years. He says, and then he calls the new person that's in that position and asking for a favor. So she gets a hold of the beekeepers. And it seemed like they were helping out Statham, and then right away they get the order. So it's like, hey, we're sending a beekeeper. And this is something that like I think the more I think about it, the more issues I have with it. But in the moment, it was just so ridiculous that I did like it. But these beekeepers are supposed to be like Statham. And it's not the first time that we've seen like the equivalent of an agent fighting off with like the old agent and getting dismantled. Because that's kind of what happens in the Bourne movies, right? Like there's multiple of those types of agents that are trying to assassinate Jason Bourne. And he's the peak. So he dismantles them. And I'm sure a lot of other spy type movies have that happen as well. But and like maybe it's just their fight style, like this new beekeeper. I don't think we get her name, but she definitely seemed a lot more eccentric than what Statham's beekeeper isms to. But the reason why I brought that up was just because I laughed so hard, because we go from him talking to her, and then she's like, "Okay, I'm going to a party." like we'll be in touch. And then she's at the party and calls him. It's like, oh yeah, I got some good news for you, Jeremy Irons. I got a beekeeper on the case. And then like they're all like giddy. Okay, this is gonna be awesome. And then it just goes to the gas station. This fucking SUV pulls up with like underglow, loud music blasting, just rams him like out of nowhere. And then it's just full out chaos. It's a very like fast paced action scene of her with this massive gun just shooting full blast, super super loud in my theater.
Cops appeared within seconds. And they
Yeah.
get killed.
I kind of like that was in there because I feel like a lot of the times in here they don't even like have cops anywhere in the vicinity, but you know they had a pretty good response time. She fucking just murders those cops right away though with her giant machine gun that she got in her tracer pack with the rest of the stuff
Drum
that
mag.
she got. Yeah, massive drum mag, exactly. Fires them all off. We get again, like I did like all the fight sequences. I like when he grabs the hose and like wraps around her neck and just fucking smashes her like on the car. That's where I was like, holy fuck! Like so many moments in this movie had that for me. But anyways, you know, it leads to the minigun moment and like that was just ridiculous on its own. We get the tracer rounds going off. Long story short, Statham takes her out. He takes Buddy's like really nice car, gets out of there, heads towards Boston. That's when he's going towards Boston after that. And then we just jump to the CIA chick again. Like she's at this exact same party. She's probably been there for like 20 minutes. Like, oh, Jeremy Irons, I got a good beekeeper to take out your beekeeper. And then like calls him after like, yeah, that did not go well. So you are on your own. And I just laughed so hard because like the speed of that sequence was just so ridiculous to me.
She says that the beekeepers have chosen to remain neutral in this
Oh,
situation.
yeah, that's what happened. So they lose their current beekeeper. I don't know how many active beekeepers they have, but they lose like one of theirs. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna remain neutral now after after like helping out Statham initially, and then sending another beekeeper to take out Statham, and then after that happened, I guess they kind of cancel each other out. So it's like, yeah, we're just gonna remain neutral, and I don't really know who they answer to. I'm assuming like the director of the CIA, if she can at least get them involved. I'm imagine they had like she has some say in kind of what goes on there. But yeah, that was just so funny to me. Just I think the way that it happened because it's like, oh, what's gonna happen after this scene? We just go right back to her at the party. Like, yeah, beekeepers are gonna remain neutral, so you're on your own. And then Jeremy Irons is like in the car and he's like, oh, fuck. And then Josh Hutcherson's like, oh, you loser. Like, how can you not handle the situation? And he just so annoying throughout the whole movie. It's comedic at times, but for the most part, I was kind of just annoyed with his character.
Yeah.
Because like he just doesn't make any smart decisions. Even in that moment when Statham goes to the Boston location where they have the FBI and the SEAL Team 6 guys, like the SEAL Team 6 guys are trying to like clear out the place so that they can just kill him. And then Josh Hutcherson's lackey calls Josh Hutcherson to tell the SEAL Team 6 guy, like, it's all about money, baby. Like, you're not shutting us down. Fuck this guy that's already wiped out all these people. So just a lot of stupid decisions there that kind of bothered me. But again, I was just kind of in it for the dumb fun anyways from that point.
Josh's character too, when he keeps getting the calls, like I like his introduction, he was just going around the office on a skateboard, and I was just kind of laughing at how he's acting. But then when we see him again next, when his first lackey gets killed off the bridge, calls him, and he's just like got the like, oh, those the new bowls? Oh, nice. He's getting like the head zen.
I was laughing at those moments for sure. He's just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Got some new bowls.
Yeah. So outrageous.
Yeah, very eccentric. So from there, where do you want to go? Do you want to start talking in the ridiculous POTUS stuff?
We
And
might
just-
as well get there, yeah, because I think that's everything else is coming.
Yeah, so as we were saying it earlier, I think a big surprise to me, to you, and probably anyone that watches this movie is just the absolute escalation this has. Like, I thought that it was just... I thought it was just going to be, like, he takes out the scammers, goes after the main scammer, which I guess he kind of does in a sense, because that definitely is Josh Hutcherson pulling the strings there, but it leads to him make the decision of he's just going to take out the queen bee, and who the queen bee is in this case is the president of the United States. I said is a lot there. Apologies. But I just laughed out loud, honestly. Like when they have that realization that it is the president's son that is going after, and he's not just going after the son, he's going after her. Like, because I don't think at any moment he says that the FBI agents that are tracking him says that he's going to be going after like the rotten egg. Like he's going for the mother of the rotten egg, and I'm just like, he's gonna fucking do it. I guarantee it. He's gonna fucking do it. This guy is just invincible, and the way that he what's the word I'm looking for? He infiltrates the manor later on. I was digging it because again, it just felt like a Codename 47 Hitman mission, and it's so ridiculous at times, especially with like. Again, like it's so ridiculous, but I had already like paid my ticket for that ridiculousness that I didn't even need like full on explanation. Like I was almost expecting him to just walk up to the front gate with all these Secret Service people and him just be like, "Oh, who are you looking for tonight?" And he just like 1v1s them all, or I guess not.
Well, he
1v1,
did that before, right? With the
he did.
the
Yeah,
FBI.
exactly.
He walks into their little huddle.
That's why I thought he was going to do it to the Secret Service people, but he actually sneaks in, puts on just a suit, like no mask or anything, and then he like makes eye contact with the FBI chick that like instantly she's like, "Oh my God, he's in the house," and calls everyone in there. And I like it, there was some stupid things going on there, but it was so entertaining to me on just the fact that they just went with it, and I definitely applaud them for that because it's a decision for sure. It's pretty bold to just not explain any of that stuff. I understand how people could be seeing this as a major negative for that reason, but man, I loved it. It was just hilarious. Like even he's in the party and he peeks around the corner like fucking Randall Park's character in Aquaman 2, and she just like locks eyes with him. Part of me is like, oh, is this the moment where she's gonna kind of work with him and like not tell anyone? Oh my God, he's in the house! Everybody go! And like they just go at him, and in my mind, I'm like, why the fuck are these people not shooting him? Like everybody just wants to kill this guy. They have him on his knees with a gun right by his head, and they just like let him talk, and then hits the button, and then he just like takes them all out from there on. So, yeah, I said a lot there.
The you're right. Like the just being able to like disconnect from the reality of some of this stuff is wild, and you know what you're getting into, and you ride that wave. The one thing that I thought was really just riding the wave was the fact that okay, you have Secret Service, you have FBI, CIA, all these different branches of government, but then you also have another branch defending the president and the president's son, the fucking one-legged like guy, like this weird, I don't even know how to describe
They
him.
look
He's
like
got an
characters out of
accent.
Far Cry, honestly. It felt like a main villain.
Yeah, like, and he's just like he walks out and his bus arrives and all like do with cowboy hat, all these guys come out, he's like yeah, he's just it's so weird.
It's like he has a whole squad of like pay to win skins that just showed up, and they're ready to kick ass. And
these are they're gonna
like the
defend
logistics of
president.
it just don't make sense because it's like this is supposed to be like a Secret Service. Like how can the Secret Service trust these people to be near the president? But whatever, we're just going for it.
Oh yeah, they went for it. This character, like they give him the briefest of back stories and monologues. He's in the office. He's with Josh Hutcherson, Jeremy Irons, and he's like, "Oh, Beekeeper, I killed one once, not before he did this." And he like lifts up his leg. His leg's just like gone, and yeah, I mean, he went out like he had a pretty intense hallway fight with Jason Statham. I really enjoyed that. But
That
he
was
got
one of my
shot in the
favorite
mouth.
fight scenes actually throughout the entire thing of just especially the usage of the audio because there's a lot like it's like a mirror room almost and they like a lot of broken glass. You can just hear the broken glass in their movements. Just really intense. A lot of just gross sequences when he like grabs the glass, pushes it right through the guy's cheek and just completely fucks him up. And like the guy puts up a good fight, especially for just being a one-legged man. Like he stabs Statham a couple times, and I just really like that whole fight sequence. So I just like that way that played out, and it wasn't just some random like that goon type character. He's not in it a lot, but I'm glad that they at least gave him a little bit of a personality for this character that he supposedly killed a beekeeper before. For him to be the one that takes on Statham, and really like he's the one that takes down the most health on him, honestly. Like if you check the health bar after all these fights, it's this one guy that actually puts up a decent fight there.
And now we can't forget his ultimate line when he's got Jason Statham dead to rights, where Jason Statham shouts or like detonates the bombs he placed around the base.
Right.
He's like, to be or not to be. Jason Statham looks at him as, I choose to be.
So fucking stupid, but I still laughed and like just got in. Like I got pumped in that sequence. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's kick these guys' ass.
I mean, how many innocent CIA like special forces people did he kill with his
Dude,
bombs? Like,
oh my god, I know. Like it started with 4 security guys that he'd killed in that first sequence, and then like I was trying to kind of keep track of like the kill count in it. It was absurd with the amount of people that he had killed in here. And again, like these are, say what you will about like officers of the law, but man, he fucking murdered it felt like millions of them, but that's definitely an exaggeration. But it definitely in the hundreds of them, and CIA agents, FBI agents, police officers, security guards. I'm sure there were some people caught in the crossfire too. I think he did a decent job at not killing any of the civilians in that party in the end sequence, but there was still a lot of them around, and I'm sure one of them was by that Humvee or something when
oh,
when it
totally.
exploded.
Totally. That one guy on the stairs, he pulled his knife and he was already like he was
Oh
done. He
yeah,
was
he looked like he
wobbling.
was drinking. Honestly, he's like,
Yeah.
woo.
Oh, and he gets knocked down like 3 flights of stairs. Not down the stairs, but like off the railing and
Oh
down.
yeah, yeah. He
Ugh.
he takes a tumble off the cliff. Okay, we're gonna take our last ad break here, and then we're gonna finish up with this sequence, and then give lead into our final thoughts. We'll be right back. All right, continuing on with the big manor sequence. Did you think that he was gonna kill the president?
I at this point, yes. At this point, anything was going. I thought he was going to kill the president. I thought the president was in on it because
Yeah.
there was that moment in the office where Josh Hutcherson and the president they kind of had that one on one, and you felt like, okay, is she kind of being a jerk here? Does she kind of sympathize, not sympathize, but understand like what Josh is doing? Like doesn't like the drugs for the image and sense, but is she aware of what's going on? And so when it was that closed setting of the FBI director addressing the fact that, hey, your campaign was funded by bullshit money and dirty money and whatnot. I thought, okay, this is her. They're probably going to kill him or do something to hide the evidence because I feel like now she is in on this. But no, once that kind of turns around and we get that sequence of her saying, oh, I'm going to tell him the truth. I'm going to tell the nation the truth. They deserve to know. I thought, okay, this is interesting, and I at this point I still did think that she was going to get killed, but I did not think it would have been by the hands of Josh Hutcherson, at least attempted murder.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna just cap them both. Honestly, I thought he was gonna walk in the room, just boom boom, and because like when he finally gets into the room, and before he gets in the room too, he has the standoff with Jeremy Irons that literally does absolutely nothing. He does the biggest bitch route. He like tries to stand in front of him, and he just like fucking does like he like pulls his fingers back. He's like, ah! And then he just like whimpers in the corner like fucking Grima Wormtongue. I'm like, man, Jeremy Irons is a little bitch in this movie. He's just like really, really trying to go after the president. I don't know. They kind of insinuate that they might have had a little bit of romance in the past, but yeah, he did not do a good job of protecting the president, like none whatsoever. But yeah, then he blows up the door, walks into the room, and then we have, I guess by this point, Josh Hutcherson would have killed the deputy director character because he's just off the rails. He's doing lines. He's totally off the hop, and like the mother's like pretty much fearing like from him, and she was gonna be the one that actually like tells the truth to Statham's character, because yeah, like I don't know, I kind of assumed that she was gonna be in on it as well. I just thought it was gonna be one of those those classic situations that the president is just doing grimy shit, which she might have been for sure, but they really play it off like she is a good individual.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised by that, and then yeah, we have the standoff between him, Josh Hutcherson, the president, and then the 2 FBI agents walk into the room, which is the daughter and her partner. And when Statham he like does a quick glance over to the window and like sees like the ocean or whatever. And earlier on in the film, like they were putting a point of emphasis that like these queen killers, they're willing to sacrifice themselves to save the hive, to do the ultimate sacrifice to take out the one big enemy. It doesn't matter if it takes their lives in the process. So I actually thought he was gonna do like a double cap thing, and then like take out the president, Josh Hutcherson, and then she was gonna be the one that kills him. And that's where that like I really thought that was gonna be the big full I guess end of her motive, or not her motivation, her goal to take out Statham, because he has been breaking the law, he has been murdering all these people, and also just all like the coworkers that she like has lost at the hands of Statham. I thought this was gonna be the moment that she like he gets his goal to take out the queen bee, but then she takes him out, and then everybody kind of did their mission. But no, he does fucking Wild Wild West quick draw McGraw, takes out Josh Hutcherson, which I guess that is possibly the first person that he kills with a gun in the entire movie. Maybe I'm mistaking it. It feels like most of it's all hand combat or explosions. But anyways, he does that, and then he just fucking jumps out the window, and I just laughed out loud. I thought that was the funniest thing ever, because I don't know. He just fucking leaps out the window, and then she does nothing. She goes out, does a standoff thing with him. Throughout the entire film, she said that she wants to take this guy out. She's not going to let him just run away. They do like a little stare down, and then he just runs, and she lets him go. And was where I was like, "Fuck this female character!" Like I was so done with this cop. She's such a liar. She says she wants to take him out. She doesn't, even after all of this. So yeah, that was the big nail in the coffin for that character. But hysterical moment for him just jumping out the window, and then it just kept getting crazier, because he like runs to the beach. He has his like scuba gear that he puts on, and then he just fucking goes in the ocean, and then he goes in the ocean, and then credits just roll. It's not.
Oh my god.
It's not even like him in Mexico, like enjoying his retirement. He literally goes in the water, and like that quick, it just credits on the screen. I was just like, holy fuck, man, what an end to this ridiculous movie. So I was laughing pretty hard in that whole sequence. I kind of recapped everything there, but anything else you wanna jump in?
Well, yeah, it doesn't feel good when a movie just cuts that fast. I like that's again like the fucking elevator sequence where it's just like cut the guy in half. No, they cut to credits really fucking fast. I'm not
Credits
a
came
fan
up
of it.
quick too. Like it was just scrolling very fast.
Yeah, people were audibly like in shock, like, "Oh, okay," because I think you expect a follow up scene or something like that, but no, it was super quick. And yeah, when he kills Josh Hutcherson, no aim down sights. He just like fucking like at his waist, headshotted him, his head right next to the president's head, like amazing aim. Holy shit. And just the fact that they didn't shoot him in that instant, for all the FBI knew, he could have fired at the president, but no, they didn't fire. They just let Jason Statham shoot and just waited to see what happened, and then chased him out the window. Yeah. God damn.
Insane.
Do you know why they were doing the party? Because I know Josh Hutcherson said he's inviting some of his electric digital friends or something like
Yeah.
that, but I didn't know if it was like a birthday party or whatnot. This just seems like a stupid idea. What they
I
knew
know.
was going on.
It did not make sense to me at all, because because Josh Hutcherson calls his mom and said, because this is where Jeremy Irons and Josh Hutcherson are kind of, okay, we got to get close to the president just for our own safety. Like, we need the Secret Service's kind of help to save us. So then he calls mommy, and then mom is like, okay, I'm going to my cabin this weekend or whatever it is. You can join me there. And at no point is it said that this is like a big charity thing or like a big fundraiser type moment. It's just, yeah, no, we'll be there. So I thought it was just literally going to be that, but they it's like Mardi Gras in there. People are just going crazy. You got like techno music, a lot of drinks all around, and just like chaos. So I was just, it didn't really make sense, all of what was going on there, because it seemed like they were on high edge security. And even like, although the president probably didn't know the full extent that the beekeeper was after them, like, I feel like once she was at the manor, like they kind of knew that was the situation, that there is this very dangerous individual coming after them. And from that point, like, if you're the president, like, even if it's your say or not, I feel like the Secret Service people are just gonna like put you in a fucking bunker somewhere, especially if it's getting to that moment, because you hear explosions going on, or I guess it's before the explosions. You hear the gunshots going on. You hear the violence outside, and they're just kind of like in the office, like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Like it like that just kind of seemed ridiculous. Yeah, yeah, they dropped that line. It's pretty ridiculous. But again, like, this is a ridiculous movie, so I was kind of able to look past it. But for some reason, in that moment, it's just like, why is this party even happening right now? Like, this is just so strange to me. But nonetheless, it led to a good, crazy finale.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add.
Anything else? Yeah, I don't think I really have anything else either, other than just saying of just really satisfying violence in this movie with the hand-to-hand sequences. I liked all of the especially the audio cues, because I feel like a lot of moments he was using like a telephone or something, or like an object to just hit someone, and just like the sound effect of that going off was just very, it just popped really good with the speakers in the theater that I was listening to. And yeah, I just really liked all the hand-to-hand combat. And yeah, no, just great violent film. So
I
final
agree.
final ratings. Taylor Field, I'll go to you first.
I mean, yeah, like we discussed, there's so many outrageous, quirky things, but this was absolutely on the higher end of the of what I was anticipating. I'm glad I couldn't remember much of the trailer, and I do recommend this movie if you were not interested and you just wanted to tune into the review. That's great. I feel like I feel confident in that the stuff that we described, even though it was spoilery, you could watch it and it's just going to be like, wow, you'll be in shock because you're seeing it for the first time. And it's so crazy. Watch it with friends because you'll have a lot more of a really hilarious experience because there's so many things that you can just ride off each other with and that occur. Jason Statham is great. The the choreography is great. Action's all great. So yeah, this movie I'd probably go. I feel like I can confidently give it like a 7 out of 10 because I really had a heckin' good time watching it, and I would easily watch this again. And not just as a background movie, I'd put it on. I would sit down and I would watch it because there's so much going on here. That's just it's really really entertaining. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty similar to you. I had a really good time with this, although there was just some stupid things on screen. That's what I bought my ticket for, was some stupid things on screen. And Statham was great for what he was. You know, he there's no big emotional sequences that he delivers, but I just like seeing him in these roles. So that was lots of fun, and the action definitely delivered. Like I said, I did like a lot of the audio effects that they were using, and just the scale of the craziness that was going on. I was definitely down for some stupidness with some characters that I feel like maybe we could have used some of that screen time for those characters I didn't like, and just put it more on Statham and that stuff, and maybe even take away like some of the like the daughter plot stuff and just fill it in with some more background on the Beekeeper isms, because I think that was enough interesting lore that I would have liked to explore a little bit more. So I definitely think that the screen time could have been split differently for that stuff. So yeah, I didn't really care for the villain, but it was a good enough villain that you're fine with them killing and like in a satisfying manner. And for all the villains really that he comes across, I feel like he really just goes in an extreme manner. So yeah, I think I would give this one, honestly, I would give it a 7 out of 10 as well. So
Nice.
I had a great time with this one in theaters, seeing it with my pops and his buddy. So yeah, it was a good time. I really don't have much more to say than that. It's a good start to the year, actually. This is my first 2024 film, so yeah, it started off with a buzz, as one might say. Anyways,
Fantastic.
I don't think I have anything else to say. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining Taylor and I for this. It's a rare 2-man review. We don't get enough of these days. It's we didn't even do our 2-man intro, actually. I just thought of that with our, what are you going to do? You know, next time. we got to do more 2-man reviews, or even just cast together. But that was lots of fun. And if we don't see you next time, it's been a pleasure. I don't know why I said that. So tragic.
Christ.
This is the end of the
Killed
podcast.
by Jason Statham.